Hi there, my name is Sarah and welcome to my channel. So today I want to review the set of Superior 24 watercolors. This set came to my attention because it was being sold on Amazon when I first noticed it for $10. The set, the tin, the 24 paints, all for $10. I thought that was a good deal, so I went ahead and bought a set. Since then I've given it to a friend, and in the meantime I kept an eye on that listing and found the set on sale at one point for $6, so I bought another one. So I just have one concern about these paints. Overall, I think they're okay. But I'm just gonna try and show you the blue color. If you can see how it's sort of chipping, does that make sense? Like the paint is coming up in layers. I noticed that happened on the other set as well, and it actually happened to multiple colors, but I've used them since then and they've gone sort of flat again. So if you do buy this set, after your first swatching, a bunch of the colors will chip up like that. You just need to get them wet again and they'll go back to normal. I don't know why they do that. Something to do with how they're manufactured. I will say Kimberly Crick has a review of this watercolor set, and her review is much less favorable than mine. But the key is that she reviewed the 48 color set. I feel like the 24 color set is full of colors. The basic colors, they use the pigments you would expect them to use, and the colors are vibrant, the paints are easy to re-wet. And the issues that Kim Crick had with the paints were to do with the colors that they added to the 48 set to fill it out. And a bunch of those colors were sort of false colors. So like the cobalt turquoise was made with a blue and a white instead of using cobalt pigment. And I understand why the company would do that just from an affordability standpoint. But this particular set doesn't have any of those issues. So I can recommend the 24 set comfortably. I think buying the 48 set is probably a waste of money unless you get a super, super good deal on it. But even then, those extra colors are just not, they're not going to be as useful to you. So I would say unless you're extremely casual with your watercolor hobby, I wouldn't go for the 48 set. The 24 set, however, is really very good, especially for the money. And just so you know, it was listed under the name Tinge, T-I-N-G-E, on Amazon. I'll put a link down below so you can check it out yourself. It is back to $10, but I still think that's a good price for these. It's a great price for these paints. I mean, we regularly pay $14 for empty watercolor tins, and you can get this tin plus a set of decent paints for $10. So I say go for it. That's a no-brainer. If you have the $10 to spend. If you don't, it's no big deal. It's not like, this isn't the kind of magical set where you need to run out and buy it immediately because it's only $10 and the paints are fantastic. The paints are good. They're high level student grade paint. I would not put them in the artist grade category, although the pigments are not bad. They use PR 108 cadmium red. They use PY 35 cadmium yellow. So I think from a quality standpoint, they're fine. The reason I would still put them in the student grade is because you'll see in some of the swatches, a few of the colors are streaky, and even swatching them on different paper or using them on watercolor paper, they can still be a little bit streaky. And the burnt sienna, the naming conventions are a bit weird. So the names of the colors are a bit strange. So this is burnt, it's labeled as umber, but it looks like burnt sienna. And this is burned sienna, and it looks more like raw umber. So in the earth tones, they're not impressive, and the color names are kind of strange, but the pigment numbers are great. I mean, you know, there was a true PR 122 for quinacridone magenta. There's, as I said, real cadmium colors. But I think you can see kind of the streakiness in this row of paints. And, you know, part of that is the paper that they're swatched on, but that's always a pretty good indicator to me that we might have issues with sort of shine, or if we have too much pigment or paint on the paper. So, you know, overall, some quality concerns, but as far as high-level student grade paints, they're fantastic. I also want to note that I did a little bit of digging, and I do suspect that these paints are the supplier for the Etcher watercolor set. Now, the Etcher set has different colors in it than this one, but I believe that the quality of the paint and the manufacturer are the same. So if you're going for the Etcher set, you could go for either this 24 or even the 48 set. If you got the 48 set and then just removed the bad colors, I think it could still be worth it. And it would still cost less than the Etcher set, which only has 24 colors. So just a little tip for you if you were interested in those. You know, I'm a big fan of Etcher, but I'm also a big fan of saving money. So just want to pass that tip on to you. So without further ado, let's get on to the swatching, and I've got a speed paint coming to you after that. Just have a few follow-up thoughts about the Superior 24 watercolor set. The first is I feel these paints behave most closely to, on professional terms, most closely to Holbein. I certainly don't think that they're related to that company, but that's what they remind me of. They could also be related to the set of Pretty Excellent watercolors, which are made by Paul Rubens. I did originally compare these paints to the Paul Rubens 12 set that I have because I was curious if they were connected, but if they are related, they're certainly not manufactured in the same plant or in the same way, because the colors don't match up, the pigments don't match up, the pigment shades don't even match up. So I don't think that they are manufactured with Paul Rubens. But if you're looking for a comparison, just so that you kind of understand the behavior of the paints and their qualities, I would say they're very close to Holbein. They re-wet pretty well, they dry hard, they're not sticky, and the flow is sort of medium to low. They're certainly not high flow, but they are, I would say, average to low. I hope you enjoyed this review. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below if you've used these paints before. Let me know what you think about them. Make sure that you've subscribed, hit that little bell so that you get notifications. I've got new videos coming every Tuesday. Bye!